Hi and welcome to Hamburg, where we're at BioEurope 2019. I'm joined by Friedrich von Bohlen, who's the CEO of Molecular Health. So Friedrich, we've just been doing a plenary session where we were discussing where the industry has gone in the past 25 years and where it could go. And clearly one of the areas that there was some conversation was around how artificial intelligence and machine learning is beginning to have an impact in the industry. But you were quite forthright in sort of saying, we've not seen anything yet. So I was just sort of, could you sort of paint the picture of actually where you see artificial intelligence and machine learning actually transforming the industry?
Yeah, sure, happy to. Take an analogy, it was 19 years ago when the human genome was first time presented, and I think today we're starting to learn how to deal with this. This is what the industry calls precision medicine. Really bringing the molecular human biology into diagnosis and therapy and so forth. So this is starting now. Yeah. So if you think of AI, which is so to say what the human genome was like 20 years ago, and you think 20 years ahead, then I think what that will do is, on the one side, really integrate biology into medicine, which is as important as mathematics is for physics. Yeah. But it will also create complete novel communities. Accessing patients, not only patients, also accessing healthy individuals and take all their data, and what all their data means, let's see, but create knowledge around disease and health, which is unprecedented today, which allows so much better diagnosis, treatment, therapy, and also prevention.
Right. But it's kind of interesting because you talk there about biology, about medicine. When people sort of think about artificial intelligence and machine learning, they think about algorithms, they think about computing, etc. But it seems that in fact you think it's still the biologists who are going to take the lead here.
Yeah, I think that it's healthcare is a content game if you speak software language, and I think artificial intelligence, or before it was big data, and before it was grid computing, and before it was cloud, and in 3 years it's going to be something else. These are all tools, sorry to not be disrespectful, yeah, but these are all tools that allow this integration into true understanding of disease, into developing drugs better, faster, more successfully, into the transition of medicine from a more observational based, I wouldn't even say science, application to a true scientific based discipline.
Right. So who's actually going to be sort of marshalling this data? Is it who are the new disruptors on the block?
Well, it's a good question. I think we can be one of them for sure. I think it's not necessarily only young companies. In a certain way, the Apple Watch will feed that disruption one day. It's very thin data, but it's a lot of data. Yeah. I think at the end it's going to be those companies, whether it's pharma or technology or data or whatever, who really understand to integrate diverse data, create novel insights, actionable insights out of these data, and allow to enthuse and embrace communities for further growth.
But how easy is it for those communities to communicate with each other? Because I remember when biology started having its influence within the old pharmaceutical industry, which was it was all run by chemists, and there was a sort of a bit of a challenge that the biologists spoke a different language from the chemists. Mm-hmm. When all of a sudden you're bringing people who are around sort of data management, etc., how much of a challenge is that? In molecular health, what is the makeup? Biologist versus sort of tech guys?
I would say it's about 50% biology, medicine, content, and 50% tech. And I think you're right, and that is exactly what needs to be merged and crossed. But at the same time, I think it is more important that the players, and that players include the patients and the healthy, understand that game, if you will, and allowed to share and participate with their data. And in other areas like Facebook or LinkedIn and whatever kind of other services, you have that already. because the user sees an immediate advantage or hopes for an immediate advantage and thinks he understands what happens with the data. I think in healthcare he doesn't understand it that well. This is why he's more cautious. So it's also an educational game for all of us to explain what that is good for. But we have only one life. We may have 5 Facebooks, but only one life. So I think it is important to solve that issue.
I mean, it's interesting you mentioned sort of the Facebook analogy, because of course that's where people are surrendering a lot of valuable data.
Nice.
So, what is being done to ensure that we get that useful sort of clinical data about patients, and also I think you mentioned about the well people and the sort of getting that information. What are the challenges of actually getting that data and being able to process it?
I think it's not a singularity step. I think it's a process. I think every productivity change is a process change. And at the end we talk about productivity here, and I don't mean that disrespectful. I mean better diagnosis, better therapy, cheaper therapy. Yeah? I think it is, everyone has to contribute. It's a single individual, it's the regulators, it's the payers, it's pharma. Everyone has to play a role. The question is always who is the driver. And I was really glad that in Germany we last week accepted a new law that really supports that sharing of data, because I think look, if no one knows who the driver is, I hate to say it, politics has to give a signal at least, and then the others can follow. On the other hand, companies like us, we pull. I mean, we strongly pull because we show what is possible even today, and I think this will converge, and in that convergence zone, like after the Big Bang, if you will, then crystallization takes place and the new healthcare system will evolve.
Yeah. But it sounds like there is an historical inevitability that we're going to go down this direction, and we just need to sort out how we get there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's really about trust. And the question is who can convince individuals to trust someone to share data, and I mean here I do believe that supranational organizations like Gates Foundation, for example, I mean, who have a level of trust, if they could demonstrate how that works, it could be a showcase or prototype for others to follow. Or, I mean, if a pharma company really finds the right level of interaction to their patients, that could be the leader in the field. So I think everyone has a chance, including us, including others, and the question is who takes the best initiative, so to say, and finds the right wavelength, so to say, to get that across.
So, and if this was to happen, if we got this as sort of the alignment of all the various stakeholders, when do you sort of think that we will see machine learning and artificial intelligence actually creating new drugs, new treatments for patients?
Well, basically it happens today. I mean, basically, we in certain parts of the process we can do that already today. So to me, it's not so much a technology game. I mean, the technology, consider it being done. It's really it's a data sharing and a data processing game. I mean, the data are really, really heterogeneous. I think one of the mistakes that have been done is giving the impressions by certain players that you just need to access data. Yeah. That's not enough. You need to clean data. You need to understand these data. You need to integrate them and make them intelligible. This is it's not so much a technology game. It's also a technology game, but it's very much a domain expertise game. This is why I say that companies like us take strong benefit and profit if we work with other technology players and also healthcare players like pharma, because I think at the end everyone brings in a part and a piece, and it's the openness to share that and learn from each other than to say you do it and I do it, let's see who's better.
Right, good. Well, it sounds like a very sort of exciting and promising future. So good luck with your efforts.
Thank you, Mike. As
Cheers.
always,
Thanks.
pleasure. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
If you found this video useful, subscribe to the channel and get the opportunity to see other content that we've got coming that will look at industry trends and discussions with thought leaders.